buy a new one from
No,
somebody.
use
Yeah,
it, refurbish.
I wouldn't assume anything when I use piece of equipment, unless you buy it from a reputable dealer. I wouldn't buy one out of the newspaper, for example. And I've seen them in yard sales.
Yes, that's right.
But I'll stay away from the, I keep on driving.
Yeah. Who would test it?
Most oxygen companies, some of them have a 6 month or 1 year, depending on the manufacturer. We usually, that's when we call you and say, I need to check your concentrator. We usually do that on either an annual or semi-annual basis, depending on the machine. But we always tell our patients, if you smell anything or if something's going wrong, that beeping sound just isn't going away, you have to call your provider. Don't wait till the very next day. You have to call them the same day. Most of them have availability 24/7. So especially if you're an oxygen user, don't wait till the very next day. Service, so choosing an oxygen provider, you have to, we all have the same products. We all sell and use the same manufacturer for oxygen. An oxygen tank, it's, the same oxygen tank, it's the same, nasal cannulas, everything is the same. You have to think about service. That's where we all try to be different. So when choosing your oxygen provider, you have to see if they have a clinician on staff. That clinician will be very helpful for you, doing the conserving device, or just to ask them about questions or do assessments. You don't see your doctor on a daily or a monthly basis, or some of you may, but your clinicians are there to do assessments. Usually they will do a follow-up after you're on the oxygen for like 72 hours to make sure that you're using the oxygen and not just putting it in a closet, that you're using your oxygen on a monthly basis. You have delivery drivers out there who go and see you. We have delivery drivers who are very in touch with their patient, because they see you guys like on a weekly basis, so they know how you're, they can tell like if you're doing good 1 week and not good the following week. You have to make sure that when you get a new piece of equipment, whether it's oxygen, nebulizer, CPAP, or anything, that you get the proper instruction and education on how to use it. You don't want somebody to just like ship it to you and you figure it out, just read the manual. It's not, I don't advise that. That's why when she said about the California and the Florida companies, they just drop ship that piece of equipment to you with no instruction at all. They just have you read that instruction manual. Local versus national companies. If you're one that doesn't travel a lot and you work very closely with, we have some patients like in South Hill, and they know everybody, and everybody knows everybody in South Hill apparently. So they have a local company out there. So they use that local company because they have that relationship with them. So if you're not one to travel a lot, you probably won't benefit from a national company. But if you're one who travels a lot, who's very active, you probably should go with a national company. Another thing, some local companies, they have sister companies that they work with in every single state, or they have their oxygen supplier, meaning the ones that deliver their oxygen tanks. They have, they deliver oxygen tanks to another state too. So ask them if they have a travel program. That way, in case you have to travel or you have to go to Maryland all of a sudden, that you can be helped. Ask your physician friends and your neighbors. If hey, this company is great, but this and this, it's always good to ask before you get a new piece of equipment. When you go to the hospital, they'll ask you, do you have an oxygen provider? and they'll say, no, or you'll say, no, I don't use any DME products. The discharge planner or the case manager may just suggest one to you. So in that situation, let's say they sent the order to Lincare, but Lincare did something to you in that first month and you're not happy with Lincare, you are more than welcome to choose another provider. But make sure that before you switch to another company is that you ask, make sure, have you told your oxygen provider about what they're doing wrong? Have you given them any chance at all to fix the problem? Because we've noticed that you would tell your physician everything, and we would get a phone call from the physician after the fact. And we're like, no, we were not aware of this. You have to, let us know, or let your oxygen provider know what's going on. That way they can fix it. Okay, I know I'm running out of
The window
time.
is how long?
Huh?
30 days? The window of change is just 30 days, right?
No,
You can change anytime you want to?
not true. Going to the next screen. Okay, Medicare, the 36 and 60 month rule. 36 months, that's the first 36 months that you're using the oxygen. Medicare pays for your oxygen. But, how do I explain this? So on your first 36 months of usage, you can switch providers as long as that provider will still accept you. Let's say you're on month 20, you've been using oxygen for 20 months, and you're not happy with them and you want to switch to a different company. You call that other company and you ask them, hey, I've been using a oxygen provider for 20 months, but I'm not happy with them, I want to switch over to you. They can start the process of checking if you are eligible to switch to their company. They have to make sure that you have all your medical records, they have everything like your oxygen testing, hospital records if needed, and a recent prescription from your doctor. So you can switch at any time, except if you're, what's your cutoff? 32.
To switch, we really did, at this point, don't take them after 12. If you've had oxygen for about 12 to 16 months with another company, we won't switch because Medicare only pays for 36 months. So if you've had it for 20 months and you switch companies, that company's only gonna get paid for 16 months. And then after that, well, she can go into the 60-month rule, but we don't after 12 to 16
Yeah,
months.
it's very tricky when you want to switch companies. That's why if you've had oxygen before, we have to go through what we call an approval process. We have to make sure we have everything before we take you on as a patient. So don't tell your oxygen provider that you don't like to pick up their equipment without having anything in replacement of that. You don't want to go a day without your oxygen, especially if you're using it on a continuous basis. 60-month rule. Medicare will only pay for an equipment once every 5 years. So if you're between 37 to 60 months, no oxygen company is going to take you because they're not going to get reimbursed. We're not going to get money from Medicare to switch you to, they're not going to get any payment from Medicare at all for the services that we're going to provide. Is that clear? No? Okay.
I've only been on it for a year.
Okay.
So let's say I've got 2 more years to go,
Yeah.
and then with Medicare, then what happens?
You're in the donut hole.
Oh,
That's what I would call
that
it.
place.
So
Yeah.
Medicare doesn't pay anyone. The company who has your oxygen, who's providing it, they get the privilege of providing you free service and equipment for 2 whole years for free with no reimbursement,
Including tanks
including tanks.
that are
If
short.
your power goes out, 24-hour day on call. So we we have to do it for free for the next 24 months. So basically, we only get paid for 36, and then we provide 2 years of free
Think
equipment and
about another
service.
business, something like that.
Yes,
Just so you get both sides and listen. What do you charge for these concentrators per month?
okay. What we charge the insurance company,
Okay, yeah.
Okay, let's go with that.
okay. The insurance, like Medicare, will reimburse $95.74 for an oxygen concentrator. So that big machine that you have, it's $95 a month. If you get oxygen tanks, whether you get one or you get 20 or 50, I think it's about $20, roughly about $20 a month. If you want to pay for it out of your own pocket, you have to check with your oxygen provider about that, because it varies.
So when you get your Medicare statement, just so you understand, Medicare requires us to print what our retail price is, but that's not what we get paid. So we could put on there, we charge $300 a month.
Put 10,000 on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
right, but Medicare's only gonna pay all of us the same amount. So Lincare gets the same amount as Roberts Home Medical, as Louisa Home Care, as everybody. So,
It sits down.
In this period from 36 to 60 months, if you want to pay it out of pocket, you've got to negotiate with each company.
You don't have to pay out of pocket between your 36 to 60 months.
that's illegal.
Yeah. Your oxygen provider will not charge you between your 36 to 60 months.
They're obligated.
We have to service you for the whole 5 years that you have the equipment. Once you go after 5 years, you'll get a phone call. Do you want to get a new piece of equipment? And you say yes, then we deliver you a new machine, and then we start the billing process again.
Back to Medicare.
Yeah, if you say, no, I don't want to get a new machine, and I want to keep that, you're not going to get any service anymore. So if that machine breaks, I hate to say this, you're on your own. You know, we're not liable for that machine anymore.
Yeah, but after 5 years, there's gonna be a new piece of equipment. You've used this thing for 5 years, all of a sudden the next generation machine is out there.
Yep,
And that would be paid for by,
Medicare or your insurance company again.
Start all over.
right?
These changes were brought about, what? We started working on it in 2004,
Approximately, yeah.
and we asked all our members, write your comments. Tell them how you feel about this. We knew this was coming.
Right.
And evidently now people squawk, because then they change the levels again, what, in 8 or 9? To be a little bit more tightening, and then last year they,
But yeah, they first reduced it, and then they hit everybody hard
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yes,
Is there any rule that says you can't go out of business and not provide the service?
there is no rule about that, which makes me go to competitive bidding. Competitive bidding, this started July 1st of 2013, last year. Basically, what it is Medicare only has certain number of contracted providers that can provide Medicare services.